So we were discussing about maxims, correct? So what are these maxims and why maxims? First question. See, if you see every cellular or cell of our body has a momentum, has a frequency. In fact, there is a discovery, and in fact, the technology is on the rise right now. At a low frequency, if you subject the body to a magnetic field at low frequencies, it can remove all the fatigueness in the cells. And not only that, they say it's a mitochondriac, metabolic shift on the cell will happen. That can actually slow down the cancer, proliferation of the cancer cells. So what essentially we are doing is when we bring certain harmony into the mind, it creates lot of good vibration in the entire body. Every cell rejuvenates when we are in harmony. In disharmony, you can see, we expend so much energy. We feel by the time we come home, we are exhausted completely. So it is just a way of keeping the body mind in harmony, so that our even regular functions will improve, day-to-day functions. So all these 10 maxims are instructions to how to keep ourselves in harmony throughout the day. It starts with our morning prayer. In the meditation, the condition we create in meditation, if we hold on to it, and through that higher conscious state, that condition which is given to us in meditation is nothing but a higher conscious state. And who gave it to us? We ourselves gave it to us. That higher conscious state which happens in meditation, if we can hold on to it, and through that higher state, if we can attend to all our daily things, what brings is a greater harmony in our life. Things will go wrong, but once we know how to balance ourselves, and the harmony comes automatically, right? For example, if the kids, when they learn the bicycles, they're off the training wheels, they have to balance. In 1 or 2 days or 3 days of practice, they can balance on the bicycle. They don't need training wheels anymore. Once they know the balance, even while turning the cycle bench this way, they know how to come back to balance. It's almost a natural thing. So balance is always a natural thing. Even in our lives, balance is a very natural thing. Going out of balance, going out of harmony is an unnatural thing. But somehow we tend to go in that direction without our knowledge. And later, going out of balance almost becomes an addiction. So going out of balance almost becomes an addiction. Hello Naresh, bye, thanks for joining. And Sai joined as well. Thank you, thanks for joining. We just started discussing, and I was just saying why maxims. The maxims are to bring harmony in our life. And how we bring this harmony in our life? So what I was saying is, basically this harmony or imbalance is a very natural thing to any life. Even in the fall, the trees shed leaves, so that it can, where there is less water, less sunlight, it cannot produce so much energy to the tree, the required carbohydrates to the tree, or whatever you call it. It sheds the leaves so that it tries to protect. See, the balance is such a natural thing, and humans have to practice it. Right? So, how do we attain this balance? Again, as I said, the morning meditation we do. Stay with that condition of morning meditation. And I've been kind of repeating this. How do I stay with that condition? Give 5 minutes after meditation. Get absorbed into that state. See what happens. I'm always giving this example. It's like when you get into the swimming pool and you are there for 1 hour, you don't think you are wet. You know you are wet, but you don't think you are wet. But when you come out of the swimming pool, then you know you are wet. You look for the towel. Right? So similarly, when we come out of meditation, we get a real glimpse of what happened in meditation. The whole condition reveals to us. In fact, after meditation, that's an interesting thing we need to observe, because when we get absorbed in the meditation, we don't know what exactly has happened. That shift happened, we know it, but how that shift happened, we don't know. So if you give 5 minutes, then that condition almost becomes a memory. And then with that memory, we can carry. So whenever there is a gap, whenever I want to look at my phone during the day, think of the meditative condition. It comes to it. Just by remembering anything, we can bring that condition. If you go to the Walmart and you see a friend from your high school, won't you feel happy to see? Why? Because all the memories with that high school and the friend and everything came into your mind. You feel happy. You re-cherish, re-enjoy those moments. Same thing with the meditation. You re-enjoy those moments. So what Maxim is saying, basically Maxim5, I'll put it on my screen. As you see it, always be truthful. Accept miseries as coming from God for your own good and be thankful. Always be truthful. Accept miseries as coming from God for your own good and be thankful. So here being truthful is not about, telling the truth. It's actually addressing the overall being, how we can be very natural, in harmony. That being truthful is nothing but stay in harmony. So this is the state at which man exclaims spontaneously, as it is as it is. That means the expression. Here, it is not about the words. This expression is not about the words. It is the expression of the life itself, the self itself. And so be natural. Like I said, harmony is a natural state, and disharmony is an unnatural state. So as long as I stay in this natural state, I am truthful. And the advice, suggestion Babaji is giving us is always be truthful. Means remain connected with that self. When we are in harmony, all that we can express is that only. We don't have to say, stay positive. The staying positive is a natural state. There is always a hope. Like that, what is that story? King Solomon. King Solomon, calls his wisest courtier, and he says, find a statement. If a sad person hears it, feels happy. If a happy person hears it, feels sad. Have you heard of it? If a sad person hears it, he will feel happy. And if a happy person hears it, feels sad. Find a word like that. And that guy comes back with Gamze Yavur. Gamze Yavur means this too shall pass. This too shall pass. So if I am happy, that too shall pass. If I am sad, that too shall pass. So anything will pass. So there is always, that means be ready for the next situation, next moment. Don't get stuck in the current situation. Life is not supposed to be stuck. Life is to move on. The moment we are stuck, we are not moving on, we cannot adopt the next changed or next situation. We cannot adopt it. Then what happens? The misery comes, suffering happens. See, life goes through all illness, all situations, good and bad. But suffering is a choice. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is a choice. So what essentially Babaji is telling us is, remove that suffering from you. Means take the miseries as if they are divine blessings. So how does it become a divine blessing is, that means that in that meditative state, with a prayerful mind, with all humility and devotion, I submit it to the God. Have you not seen the same situation in the Bible? Where Jesus on the cross, he says, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani. O God, why have you forsaken me? And then he kind of waits for a moment and he says, Father, I forgot the statement suddenly. What was the statement? Father, in your hand I commit this spirit. I commit this spirit, my spirit. Father, in your hand. There was a huge debate on when you look at the Hebrew translation whether he was saying hand or hands. So, but Father, in your hand I commit my spirit. Right? So the Hebrew word for that is Biyadi Afkid Ruke. Ruke is spirit. In fact, there is a lot of similarities in Arabic and Hebrew. Ruh means spirit in Arab. So he says Abba, Bekhede, Afkid, Ruki. Abba means father. Even in Arabic, Abba they say is father. In the old Aramaic, it's Abba. Anyways, so he says, immediately all that pain he is going through on the cross. And one side, he cries out, why have you forsaken me? And immediately he says, okay, all this is yours. I commit my spirit unto thee. And then then he became free. Then all these noble qualities, compassion, empathy, sympathy, everything comes into him. And then he says, Father, they know not what they are doing. Forgive them. Forgive them, for they know not what they are doing. See, in a short span, how the whole personality is transformed. When we accept all these situations, miseries, even happiness is a misery. We don't. Even happiness, we cannot completely cherish it. We hold it. Even misery also, sadness also, we cannot complete it. We hold it. So essentially, the advice Babaji is giving is, exhaust, whether it is happiness, completely, fully, go through it completely, no holding, no hold-ups. If you're sad, go through it completely. Don't hold it. And then it will pass. Then you are ready for the next dose. Then you are ready for the next dose. And that's how life moves on. But if I am not ready for the next dose, the life will stop. Even at VA, you see a lot of PTSD patients. They are not moving on. Whatever happened, yes, it was horrible. Whatever they have seen, yes, it is humanly, it's not, we cannot, withstand it. But yet, we don't want to hold our life or something happened. It has to move on. So on heartfulness, all the techniques we learn, we apply, so that we realize this situation of life, and also we understand the subtleties, the subtle states we go through, the mind can experience. Initially, in the first meditation, we go through that subtle state, but we don't recognize it because we have never experienced it before. But as we go through the same state again and again and again, it becomes, now, after 100 meditations, the same state you are experiencing from the first meditation. On the 100th meditation, you will say, wow, today I had a best meditation. But you had that best meditation on the first day. But we never, realize it because mind is not used to it. Mind is used to more active situations, cognitive situations, right? So as it becomes subtler and subtler, it comes in harmony with this higher state, what we call consciousness. So once we come in harmony with that conscious state, it becomes natural. Okay, whatever happens, yes, this too shall pass. We submit it to the Lord. Yeah, it's yours. And then we go through it. We exhaust it. No hold-ups. Oh, I should not feel so happy. So there is a, I used to listen to some old 60s songs. And this singer is supposedly always singing very sad songs. And in one of the song he says, I'm happy, but I'm surprised why I'm not sad. Because he got used to this sadness. So that's how we are stuck. We cannot even have happy moments, we cannot have sad moments completely. We are neither there nor here. So that's why life appears to be very confusing. There is no clarity. So once we determine, okay, no matter what, I'll accept and I'll go through it, I'll face it, and I'll also cherish it. Move on. Then, we realize this freedom, the true freedom of the mind, what is called liberation. And then mind is ready to experience more and more subtler states. We cannot go through it because, we are always disturbed with everything going around. How can a disturbed mind can experience a subtle state? Whereas when there is a grosser vibration, you cannot, even the subtler vibration comes, we cannot recognize it, we cannot acknowledge it. So only the calm mind can experience the more subtler states. So it's our sole responsibility to keep it calm so that we can go more deeper into deeper states and higher states. As we go into higher states and as we go through the same higher state repetitively, it becomes my natural state. When it becomes my natural state, then I am ready for the next higher state. And it goes on. Okay. So that means life is experiencing, the life expression changes. Today we are stuck between positive expression and a negative expression. But here the life expression changes completely. Okay. So that is the fifth maxim. Okay, I'll stop here. And if you have any comments, questions, we can discuss and then get into meditation.
I have a question.
Yes, Cliff.
When did Babaji just say that?
When he said that?
Well, instead of being kind of obtuse like that, unless that was the way they communicated back then, that background and understanding.
Yes. So the background and understanding happens not in just one phrase or one commentary. If you look at his overall life, overall his teachings, if you want to summarize it, and this is how I can summarize it, right? So we kind of because what happens is, even when you're reading the Bible or any scriptures, we kind of get stuck on one concept. But if you look at the overall concept of life, overall concept of that great being, overall life you see, overall life teachings you see, and then read this same thing, you will completely get a different flavor. If I have to repeat what Babaji said, it doesn't appeal to us because he said it in very few sentences, and his misery was, if you read the commentary, I'm going to share it with you. If you read the commentary of Babaji on this maxim, he said if your guru says, if your teacher says something, or if he's angry, so for him that was the most miserable thing, because his soul, life and everything is dedicated to his teacher. So for him the misery was different. For us the miseries are different. So now from which context should I present? Right? So I'm kind of presenting it from my own context. All right. Okay, so we can get started with meditation.